I think you're down there.
Oh, they move us around. Just to mess with us.
I'd like to call this meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next item is roll call. Cheryl?
Ortini. Burkett.
Here.
Fryhofer. Landreth. Remy.
Here. Then next is approval of the agenda. I'd entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second on the agenda. Is there any discussion? Let's proceed to vote.
Landreth.
Yes.
Ortini.
Aye.
Burkett.
Yes.
Fryhofer.
Yes.
Remy.
Yes. Next item then is the approval of the minutes from the previous meeting. Does anybody have any comments on any changes or anything, or entertain a motion to approve the minutes?
I enter a motion to approve the minutes.
Is there a second to that?
I'll second.
Any discussion on any item? Well, let's proceed to vote.
Fryhofer.
Yes.
Burkett.
Yes.
Landreth.
Yes.
Ortini.
Aye.
Remy.
Yes. Next item is public participation. Individuals may comment on the items that are on the agenda during public participation time. We'll limit it to 3 minutes, but you may speak only once. Is there anybody wanting to speak on anything other than something that's listed on the agenda for public hearing? Seeing none, we'll move on to public hearings. Resolution number 6. Open the public hearing on that item.
Good evening, Commissioners. What you have before you tonight is kind of a big deal. It's a brand-new office building on one of the few vacant lots located at 127 North Market Street. Come on. So it is a site plan for a 2,397 square foot, one-story office building. Like I said, it's at 127 North Market, which, I could make this work, is located, you can see there, it's just south of Montezuma Park, adjacent to Wild Edge. The vacant lot there. And just to explain a little bit, I showed a little map of the Central Business District part of it. This area is a weird little northern enclave. It's the only part of the CBD that bulges north. So it did confuse a few people that it was actually part of the Central Business District, but for whatever reason, and the people that are on staff now don't know what that reason was, they did bulge the Central Business District all the way up to the park here. This is a pretty bad picture of the site, but a totally vacant site right now. You can see the mural for Wild Edge there and the alley that separates the property from the park. I don't know if someone who's been here longer than me knows if something was removed from the site. Obviously, there is some infrastructure for pedestrians built there that will probably have to be changed a little bit. So here's the site plan, and mostly in true central business district style, it will mostly fill up the lot. They're proposing a little bit of a gap between Wild Edge there, and we'll show you that next. And they are, even though central business district does not require parking, they are proposing 5 parking spaces for their employees, probably. Central Business District does not require setbacks, so on the northern and eastern property lines, it will basically be 0 lot line. It will require, let's see, some improvements here. If I can do this. To the side, it's not showing, is it? To the sidewalk out front, but we'll go there next. So here's some perspective elevations of the new building. The one on top there would be as seen from the alley or the park looking at it. And then the east elevation, or the elevation from Market Street, is on the bottom there. Got the approval criteria for you there. I'm not going to go over all of it. For the most part, it's whether it conforms with the comprehensive plan and all the dimensional and other requirements in the Land Use and Development Code. Put the standards up there. As you can see, there's not a whole lot of standards required. You're allowed to cover the site 100%, no setbacks, maximum height of 50 feet, and no parking or landscaping is required. And they're essentially exceeding all of those requirements or matching them exactly. The other thing that I discussed a little bit is the comprehensive plan does have some design recommendations. They're not translated into the code, so they're essentially recommendations only. But it does, I put those in your staff report, and I highlighted one here, which is ensure that building design and facade treatment reflect the historic character of downtown. So I've got a photo here that's showing you the existing block of North Market, the built environment there. As you can see, that it's sort of the Cortez Southwest style. Both of the buildings that are there now are 1 story. So it does appear that as proposed, with a somewhat of a territorial or Southwest style on the building and stucco exterior 1 story, it should fit fairly well in there. They're proposing to even tie in the design elements a little bit with a stucco type fence in there. So it really, I felt like it does do a good job of meeting the comprehensive plan. Interesting enough, it talked about the eclectic historic character of downtown, which I thought was a nice description. And then I put all those policies in there. Most of those policies are talking about that you should develop design standards for downtown. Obviously, that wasn't ever done. But it does appear that they did a nice job of ensuring that the building design facade treatment does reflect that character pretty nicely. Other things, there were a lot of comments from our agencies and staff. I think some of them, it's a little confusing because I wanted to put them in there right the way they stated them. And the applicants did address some of them before this final writing of the staff report. So let me know if you have any questions on that. I think maybe the most important one there is on the sidewalk. So the existing sidewalk in front of the building here It's a little patchy and there's some extra concrete, but it's more of the standard 5-foot wide sidewalk. The Central Business District requires the 9-foot sidewalk. So their site plan, they did amend that to show the 9-foot sidewalk. I think we can see it on here, as required. So the idea is, in front of buildings downtown, that there's plenty of room for outdoor seating or plenty of walking room for the window shoppers. Although this will be an office building, so not a lot of window shopping should happen. Let's see, the employee parking area, we talked about that a little bit. They revised that. That will be a concrete surface parking area. There was also some concerns about drainage, and as recently as today, they've been working on addressing that. So they're well on their way to addressing the comments. But with all of that, staff is recommending approval of the site plan. We've got 2 conditions, which are generally pretty standard conditions, but it covers everything, which is to meet all requirements of utility providers, city departments, and all city codes, specifically also the 2009 City of Cortez Construction Design Standards and Specifications, and then the second condition being that appropriate construction drawings and reports for the project revised as required by the city engineer and fire department also shall be signed and stamped by a Colorado licensed architect or engineer and approved by the building department and city engineer before obtaining the building permit. Are there any questions?
Anyone have any questions for Nancy?
The applicant's also here, so they should be able to.
Is this solely going to be an Edward Jones office, or are there going to be other tenants or other activities going on inside of the building?
There's the proposal right now is there would be 3 office suites. The largest suite that would be accessed directly off Market Street is proposed to be an Edward Jones office at this moment, and then there would be 2 more suites working west that would be their doors would be facing the park. But both of the other 2 office suites, yeah, you can kind of see on the top picture there, the 2 doors. That would be as you're looking from the park toward the building. Those 2 doors, kind of more on the western side of the building, would be office use.
Do all of the suites, are they all handicap accessible from the door to the suite?
Yes. That kind of the ramp in that one picture that had the yellow around it from the street, that'll work straight up, and it'll be concrete out in front of all of those to be handicap accessible. Right there.
This is just a 1-story building.
Correct. And then this is my fault, and I'm sorry, Nancy. I should have caught it because you did send me the agenda, and I believe this was also in the agenda. So I apologize, but just one correction: the 2397 square feet. That is the square footage of Suite 1. The total building should be closer to 4,800 square feet. The other 2 suites are an additional combined 2,500. So with the almost 2,300 and the 2,500 behind, it should be closer to 4,800 square feet, approximately. And I'm sorry, I should have caught that earlier.
So does this building go all the way to the west, the other street?
And not quite, because of the parking in the back.
And Nancy, what was the comment about drainage? Was that from the parking in the back, or?
If you look through Ian's comments, Public Works, There were concerns about, because that alley is gravel, if it were proposed to drain to the alley, whether or not that might affect the alley adversely and require some paving of the alley. They have since submitted and shown that it will drain to the south through that patio area out to Market Street. So they probably won't require that, but given the way we wrote that suggested condition, it will cover it regardless.
Will the city require a legal maintenance agreement recommended by the engineering department for the alley or any other structure?
That was one of the recommendations from Public Works, and we do have that conditioned. He'll have to work with the city attorney and make sure that
What does that encompass? Is that just the alleyway?
just,
Maintenance?
he's speaking about the alleyway in his. Yes.
I mean, could the improvement of the alleyway be a part of the project right now? Is it gravel right now?
Right now, the alley's gravel, yes.
It's not part of his land.
No, it's city-owned land.
Yeah, the city doesn't ever require or allow private maintenance of public right-of-way. So,
There could be a lot more increased usage, and I'm a little bit concerned about that.
and that would be the city's obligation to improve it if necessary to accommodate increased usage of the alleyway.
Well, if I'm looking at it correctly, the tenants would probably park on the west side,
Correct.
and people would enter the building on the east side would be, so there probably wouldn't be much traffic through the alley, actually, unless,
Is there going to be a dumpster?
Yes. There's currently a dumpster there anyway for Wild Edge.
The dumpster's shown on the site plan in the southwest corner, back in the alley.
oh, back here, I think.
Is that going to allow enough space for I guess it would be a medium-sized dumpster?
Yes.
Any other questions for the presenters or Nancy before I open it up for?
Do you all have any issues with the 9-foot sidewalk that they're saying is going to be required?
I don't think so. It's going to fit into our plan, and we're going to be able to landscape it. It should look really nice.
And the access over here to the 3 exits on the north side, is that concrete or are those stones? I'm a little bit confused.
That's a sidewalk concrete.
So it'll be all concrete. The only other issue I have, and I don't know how to address it really, there's a lot of events at the Montezuma Park right there. And sometimes they have to set up barriers because of the Colorado law for alcohol and all this type of thing. I don't know if you guys were at the last third Thursday, but the barricade was basically blocking this whole area. So that's the only really other concern that I have. If your space might be blocked off if there's events, and that might hinder access to your property.
We've been working closely with the Third Thursday group. I think that's the biggest amount of traffic going in there, but we've talked with them about this, and I think there's plenty of room with the alley and then on the other side of the lot to coordinate that. We were letting them use that entire lot for the event this entire time, but yeah, we plan to stay in touch with them on the third Thursday.
Your hours of operation are until 5 p.m., is that correct?
Yeah, they'd be starting after business hours.
And so third Thursday doesn't start till 5 or 6 or something.
Could there be other tenants in the building that operate at later hours, past 5 PM?
More than likely not. With Edward Jones being in there, they're pretty restrictive themselves on the other tenants in the building having to be pretty much in the professional services industry.
Keep in mind, the criteria for approval of the conditional use doesn't take into account the nature of the tenants. So whether it's Edward Jones or anything else, that's just an example, and your authority to approve or deny is not contingent upon the types of tenants. It's the type of building that you're looking at.
Thank you.
The tenants would be restricted by the zone uses.
I just
so-
wanted to get a characterization to see if they would, I mean, a vape shop could open up and they could be open until, whatever the latest hour, 10, midnight, I'm not sure. But that's just an example that it could change
Well, and they could be, I mean,
the nature of the property if there was a different type of non-professional tenants. But we're not here to judge that.
Any other questions? Okay, then I'll open the public hearing for public participation. Anyone willing to speak for or against? Seeing none, we'll close the public comment section and continue on with the public hearing. Guess I'd entertain a motion to approve the plan unless there's no other questions.
As long as it's going to be conditional on the maintenance agreement with the engineering department? Or is that not a provision of it?
well, the way that was written was if alley improvements are required, a maintenance agreement may be required. I was a little concerned, and I think Pat might want to speak to that.
Yeah, the alley is no different than a public street, and we don't require maintenance agreements for public streets. That's the city's obligation. That's what the tax dollars pay for, and it would be a liability issue for the city to have private enterprises maintaining public right-of-way. So I would caution against that being a requirement. Now, there may be some requirement to upgrade it prior to obtaining a building permit, but ongoing maintenance would be the obligation of the city. Snow plowing, repair of the surface, whatever surface they end up putting on it, that would be a city obligation.
No different than it is already.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, but wouldn't it be true, though, if their drainage goes, I mean, this is the north side of the building that we're talking about, ice buildup in the winter could be an issue.
Sure.
That could be something that would
Yeah,
be.
if there's a drainage problem that originates from the property, then Public Works would require the landowner to remedy that.
Should we have that in place before we go forward? I mean,
Well, that's part of our regulations.
so if there's a drainage issue that affects Wild Edge, how is that resolved in the future?
Same way, either through private litigation, 'cause it's no different than if the tenant on the south side of Wild Edge caused drainage problems that affected Wild Edge. It's usually not part of a special use permit requirement. We just had litigation that went on for months on a property. It was in the industrial zone, but on the very issue, and it was the two property owners were involved in litigation against each other regarding drainage and they eventually resolved it, and the lawsuit was dismissed. But it's really unless the city approves a specific drainage plan that causes the problem, then it's not really the city's problem to deal with.
Well, I'm glad that that space is going to be put to use, and it looks like they have a pretty solid plan. And what is the construction timeline? Do we have, did they submit that to you guys, or do we not really have an idea?
I has to go in front of city council first.
Well,
right?
From, we can answer that. I mean, from tonight, hopefully we make it past this evening. From that point, we'll be on the city council here at the end of the month, and then from there, as soon as we are issued a permit, I think the construction will start immediately, as soon as possible. Darren's a little bit more on leading the charge there, but we've already been in touch with the concrete contractor. We already have a framer on board. The truss package has been ordered. Obviously, we're going to do everything we can to move that construction time as swiftly as possible before the weather gets too adverse. And obviously, we've got some people looking to move in, so we'd like to get them in as soon as possible.
Well, I guess I'll make the motion to recommend that the city of Cortez approve the P&Z resolution number 6, series 2026, a resolution approving the site development plan for a new office building on property located at 127 North Market Street, Cortez, Colorado, in the Central Business District Zone, with the conditions applied to that as recommended.
I second the motion.
Got a motion and a second on the floor. Is there any further discussion? Let's proceed to vote.
Burkett,
Yes.
Fryhofer,
Yes.
Borcini,
Aye.
Landrith,
Yes.
Remy.
Yes. Okay, thank you, gentlemen.
Good luck.
Next item is unfinished business, and seeing none, and going to business. Jason, you will clue us in on resolution number 7, the draft form.
I will do my best. Good evening, Commission, Chair. Tonight I bring before you a draft resolution number 7. And what this really is a formal recommendation from the Planning and Zoning Commission to the Cortez City Council, requesting that council adopt an ordinance authorizing the commission members to participate in meetings remotely via video conferencing or other electronic means. This resolution was modeled on the electronic participation policy already adopted by City Council. It's been adapted to fit this commission structure. This resolution does not itself amend the municipal code. It initiates the process by which the city council will consider, and if it agrees, enact the necessary code amendments. This resolution, like I said, is in draft form, so based on your discussion points this evening, it will either be dropped as an item for consideration, or edits will need to be made for your further review at the next regularly scheduled meeting. I provided a lot of information in my staff memo for you guys, but there are really a few items that you should discuss specifically, and there's a couple of decision items as well. But I think one of the first things that you guys need to decide, I guess, is that does this commission agree that this is a policy that you'd like to even carry forward? It seemed like at the last meeting there was some disagreement potentially around whether or not remote participation should even be something you guys wanted to take on. So maybe if you guys wanted to start there, and then if you guys decide you want to proceed, there's some items that need discussion that I can elaborate on and kind of walk you through.
Do you know if the city has done any of this? Have they had any virtual participation in voting?
Good question. Have we?
I take that back, yes. Mayor Medina participated remotely a couple times.
But was she able to vote?
Yes,
Okay.
it was subsequent, because they adopted the ordinance establishing the policy, was it October or November
Yeah.
last year?
Yep.
And so, yeah, that allows for voting as well.
I remember she did participate in one of the workshops where we had land use code.
And she had participated previously to the adoption of the ordinance, but she didn't vote.
Right.
And the citizens did approve this ordinance. Is that correct for the electronic
council.
participation? Or was
Yeah.
the city council approved it for themselves?
Yes, for the city council, they amended the charter so that it didn't conflict with the ordinance that was previously adopted. And there was some debate whether the ordinance actually, in fact, did conflict with the charter, but just to be sure, council put that language to change the charter, and it was approved
By the city
by
of
the
Cortez,
voters,
by the citizens.
yes.
So if we pass something on to them, they would still have to vote on whether or not to allow us to meet virtually, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Because it'll take some tweaks to the code, which only the council can approve.
We're not able to set our own policy without their approval.
If it has implications on the code, changing the code, then the council has to do it. You have the ability to adopt policies that have no impact on the land use code or the city code without council involvement.
And because they just passed it, or they just approved it specifically for the city council, that's why it has to go before them again.
Correct.
I see.
Well, given some of our past history of sometimes not having a quorum when we need a meeting, obviously I brought this up, and I'm in favor of us trying to get something accomplished to meet virtually. A lot of the boards that I'm on do meet virtually, and the meetings we have are virtual, so I'm kind of used to it, but how do other people feel?
But as the chair, you would not be able to participate remotely.
I could participate, but I couldn't chair the meeting, right? Patrick?
Okay.
Correct. I mean, the contents of the policy is up to the planning commission to recommend, but that's the way the city council ordinance reads, is that the chair can participate and vote remotely, but cannot run the meeting. So vice chair here, or the mayor pro tem in the terms of the council, would have to run the meeting, unless that person is also absent, and then they would have to select somebody to be the person that runs the meeting.
So the chair and the co-chair, one of them would have to be present.
Unless we select somebody else.
Yeah, and if both of them are absent, then they would nominate somebody from the floor at that meeting to be the chair for that meeting. So I guess in the somewhat unlikely event that both of them are absent, then the planning commission, based on this language, would have the authority to nominate somebody else to run the meeting in the absence of the other two who would still be able to participate. But, I mean, it's certainly the language and the entire policy, even to the point of whether you want the policy or not, is something that I think you would need to decide, and we can make whatever edits. If you decide to go forward with a policy, you can tell us what changes to the language you want, and of course, council would need to approve those changes as well, but it's open for discussion.
Do you know what software platform the city uses? Council uses?
It is, well, let's see.
It's
Darren in there? I think,
we'll call in the IT guy.
Yeah, call the IT, because there's numerous ones.
for the remote participation, what software do we use?
We currently use a platform called Avaya.
Avaya, but
What's the name of it?
Avaya.
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 So do we have to download that app on our computer then, or?
No, sir. You can use it within a web browser. I believe it is pre-installed on the laptops that you've got. No, I'm sorry. You guys aren't issued laptops. That's my fault. You can visit the site and use it in a web browser, though,
Okay.
or on a mobile device.
I've had problems with WebEx and Pueblo Community College, but somehow I worked through.
Aaron, if they knew ahead of time they were gonna want that, we can get them a link, right? Like
Absolutely. Yep. We would send you a link via email, and you could just click that link and then open the meeting in a web browser or on your mobile device and attend the meeting that way.
Okay. Yeah, Microsoft Meets I've had challenges with too, but okay.
The only question I have is, I know that we're not allowed to have more than 3 unexcused absences. I assume if you appear remotely, that would not count as a unexcused absence, or I guess that's up for us to decide, the policy. Right, Pat?
correct, that based on the city council format, and they, I believe they have the limit as 6, right, Jason?
yeah, that's correct.
So, and since you have roughly half the number of meetings as city council, Jason's suggesting 3, but you don't have to stick with that number. You can choose more or less. But I guess the idea would be that if they participate remotely, that would not be counted as an unexcused absence, that they would actually be attending the meeting.
What is an unexcused absence? Who makes that judgment? Is that just no contact before the meeting and not showing up, or is there a criteria, I guess? I mean, not that I don't love coming here and participating, but just curious.
I think generally if somebody's not going to appear, they, in the past, have either contacted the clerk and/or the director and gave notice of their intent not to be there, and that was considered excused. Certainly you can come up with language if you want to clarify that and give more concrete language for the
I just want people to participate, and I want people to,
Sure.
have a say in the future of Cortez and make a positive impact. So if people are, of course, we can't all appear remotely. I guess that would be one of the conditions, because you always have to have at least one person live to be the chairperson. Could there be one person live and 4 remote? I guess that's for us to discuss.
I think the limit is 2 remote.
Yep.
Okay.
And it's first come, first serve, so if you're the third person, you don't get to appear remotely, and so your non-appearance is either excused or unexcused, and presumably if you've contacted ahead. I don't think we've ever been in a position where the chair or the director or anybody else had to determine whether the absence was excused or unexcused. Generally, I guess if they just don't show up without contacting anybody, that would be considered unexcused.
Yeah,
But-
I can't think of a situation in the years I've been here that somebody didn't contact ahead of time and say, you know, I wasn't gonna be able to make it or whatever, and we just made sure we still had one. That's the biggest thing. I think there's only been one time that maybe we didn't have a quorum. I mean, I think we had to postpone the meeting till the next month then, so it's not it's very rare, but I don't wanna have to hold up some proceeding because well, at that time, we only had three commissioners here, so, yeah, it helps to have five, I will say that.
Well, forgive my ignorance, but in the pack of information that was sent, one of the lines says that currently there's no provision that explicitly authorizes or prohibits electronic participation. So, I mean, the citizens already voted on this. I feel like it's an issue. It's already been discussed pretty thoroughly. If it's all right for city council, I don't see why it can't be right for the P&Z commission. And I'm just curious if we really have to jump through all these hoops.
No, I agree 100%, but I think the city council might feel a little bit differently.
And I'm fine if we don't want to pursue it. If I'm on a ship in the Mediterranean on a cruise and don't have to be at a meeting, yeah, that works for me.
So Pat, if we don't go forward with this today, could we still participate remotely?
I guess currently we don't have a policy that prohibits remote participation of the P&Z. But I think the language in the code says that you have to appear at the meeting at City Hall.
So the issue is changing the code, and that's why
Yeah.
That's why.
they're going to have
Yep.
the city council is going to have a say. Although I agree with you 100%, Bruce.
Well, I just came from the Historic Preservation Board meeting, and we had an electronic participant. I don't think they've ever talked about this either. I'm just trying to make it simple, but I'm not in the legal field, so if we have to jump through this, then that's fine. Otherwise, I just say, everybody okay with it, and let's move on with life.
In the historical, did they vote?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Pat, does the Historical Preservation Committee, did they approve this with the city council, or you're not familiar with?
No, and I don't believe there's a code restriction on how they participate, whether they have to be here or not. So that would be the difference.
Yes, the only other issue is, I know we get a small amount for attending these meetings. Would you still get paid if you attended remotely? I guess that would be for us to decide.
Yes.
Well, the assumption is that if you are participating remotely, you're attending. So,
And that may be why we have to go through city council to make the change, because
well,
The
you
historical,
guys, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of code in the city code that kind of dictates a lot of, when you're supposed to be here and some of the language around being in person. So that is why there's a need to change the code language to align with this electronic participation.
And I think a practical matter, you're the only other body besides city council that conducts quasi-judicial hearings. And those are obviously more formal than what some of the other committees participate in. So I guess having some more firm policies and guidelines as far as what's allowed and who runs the meeting and that sort of thing would be at least something to consider.
And I'm not, I can go either way. If we want to do it or we don't want to do it, having 5 commissioners helps versus the 3. I know I will be absent at the next meeting, and I won't be virtually either.
Well, and can I say that we are the only other group that are reimbursed besides city council?
Yeah,
So that's probably why we have to
Sure.
make it a little more strict.
that's what he was saying. But if we don't want to do it, I'm fine with that too.
I'm good with doing it. I feel like the citizens have already spoken. They've approved it for city council. I don't know why it would be against the desires of the people of Cortez for the P and Z commission to do it. I just think we should try to be here if we can.
Like without a limit?
Hmm?
With no limits?
No, what?
With no limits?
No, without limits, obviously with limits.
So,
I think we're just trying to decide if we're gonna move forward.
yeah, and I've
We
got
can
a
talk about
couple of
limits.
areas for you guys to talk about if you want to just proceed with.
I can tell you, I'm for it. We might as well, I mean, the city council.
Okay,
I think it's really about setting the parameters.
Yep.
You know, that's the
Okay.
key points that we're gonna talk about, I think.
Yeah, so I guess let's get down to the details.
yeah, so if you guys are looking at the actual ordinance, starting on page 2, there's recommendation to city council section, and there's several items there that kind of line out some of the rules of engagement, so to speak. And again, this was modeled roughly on the way city council set their ordinance up. Well, there's a couple in here that need to be discussed, I think. Item number 5, so there's a maximum of 2 commission members may participate electronically at any meeting. I don't know if you guys want that number to be different, but that's what city council landed on.
I support 2. I think that's reasonable.
Yeah, I think 2 is reasonable.
Okay. The next item is number 6, and you can see I've left it blank. So a commission member may participate electronically a maximum of number of times, number of meetings per calendar year. So wanted to see if you guys wanted to set, so each one of you can exercise your electronic participation, but do you want to limit how many times each person can do it? So it doesn't seem like there's just like 1 or 2 of you that are constantly gone.
The city council used 6 as the number. Obviously, you meet,
Yeah.
you're scheduled for half the number that city council is. But as we've seen, and I don't know the exact numbers, Cheryl or Jason might have to opine, but council at least 1 or 2 every year anyway. So you probably don't even have 12 meetings per year, more like 9 or 10 or.
Cheryl and I looked it up right before we came in here just because I was curious. So from August of last year until this meeting, we've had 7. Is that right? Yeah.
So I guess I would suggest that you not allow 6 as the number like city council did.
I mean,
Because somebody might miss all the meetings in that case.
I mean, I'm not opposed to any type of limit as long as people are participating. I mean, I don't plan on missing it and attending remotely every time, but if it's going to let more people participate, then I'm all for it. And it's just the commissioner has to judge for him or herself whether they want to show up or appear remotely.
And I would think that one would only appear remotely if they weren't in town. I mean, if I'm here, I'm coming to City Hall. If I'm out of town, I'm in Phoenix enjoying the weather.
Well, I feel like, once again, the citizens voted on to approve what happened for city council. So if we have half the amount of meetings, then 3 seems like a reasonable number to me. I know we don't actually have all those meetings, but I'd be good with 3.
I think I could live with 3.
I'm in agreement.
Okay. I think the only other area that I thought you guys might want to talk about beyond those would be, so right now, item 11 explicitly permits electronic participation in quasi-judicial functions. And so I just wanted to give you guys an opportunity to think through If there's actually a public hearing, a quasi judicial proceeding in a meeting, are you guys okay with restricting the electronic participation for those particular items on an agenda? Or are you guys pretty comfortable with basically self-certifying that when you show up for electronic participation, you're basically saying to everybody in the community that you've read the packet, you're ready to go? I don't know, it's just an area that I thought was kind of interesting and you guys might want to think.
What happens if the connection is lost?
That is one of those items there. I believe it is, so their number 2 and number 3 specifically kind of address that, but basically number 3 is stating that the chair or other presiding officer, if it's not the chair, can terminate participation if it just keeps getting lost. If the connection gets lost.
Yeah, that is reasonable. We got to make sure we have good internet and we can stay connected. I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
in the far out chance that it happened from this end, obviously we wouldn't need.
No,
Got to make sure you're in a good spot where you can stay connected.
that's the idea.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
So,
Robert, I don't know what the internet connectivity on the Carnival Cruise Lines is, but something to consider.
sorry, I'm gonna miss it anyway. I'm putting in my written notice now that come September, I'm gone. I've already talked to Richard about chairing the meeting as vice chair, so.
Pat, I have a question. So let's say, for instance, everybody's here and they decided that they didn't want voting members on quasi-judicial matters. Could they just abstain from that vote as long as there was a quorum, or would you just recommend they make a choice one way or the other?
I would recommend, if you're going to allow remote participation, that it's participation for all purposes. And quite frankly, part of the reason that I think we're suggesting this is Charles, I think I had to kind of call you and say, hey, if you don't show up, we don't have a quorum, and you showed up, and you had a potential conflict, but you were questioning whether you should participate because of the conflict, and I said, we won't have a quorum if you don't, and the statute specifically allows participation even in the event of a conflict if it's necessary to maintain a quorum. But if they're participating for all other purposes but not in a quasi-judicial hearing, there could be instances where the quorum is defeated for arguably the most important hearing of the evening, the quasi-judicial hearing. So I guess, and the council specifically allows full participation even in executive session as well. So yeah.
Easiest way is to mirror the city council's language, with the exception of the number of absences allowed, and they might not have any trouble with that.
And I think that's what you put together.
That's
wasn't it?
pretty much what we did. I didn't have anything else for you guys. I just need you to decide on a few of those numbers, and if you're comfortable with it overall, what we'll do is Pat and I will clean it up and we'll bring it back to you guys at the next regular meeting, and you can vote on the resolution to move it forward, and yeah, we'll bring it to council after that.
On number 7, you had a couple of a variable for a number 2 member and number of meeting limitations shall not apply to meetings which I'm sure it didn't do that.
Which one are we looking at?
Number 7.
The 2-member and annual meeting caps?
So in other words, that says no more than 2 members.
Sorry.
I'm reading.
Oh, yeah, the 2-member and meeting limitations, yeah. So basically, we'll take that 3 meetings number and we'll move it down to that, the 2-member and 3 meeting limitations.
So then number 6 also says 3.
Yeah, I'll fill those blanks in with with that.
And then you all will be able to vote on it next meeting.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Is it best to try to move something forward now, or there has to be a lot of cleanup, I guess?
Well, I guess we could,
Um,
now what do you think, Pat?
Yeah, I guess I would recommend that you have an actual resolution that has the blanks filled in.
Okay.
Before you vote on it. I mean, I don't know that there's a big hurry. Robert, you may be gone anyway, but you said you're not going to participate remotely at the next meeting?
No, but in October I could participate
Yeah.
remotely.
And I think we could still get it approved by council by October.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just know that when we only had 3 of us, you know, to slow things down is not what the public wants to see when they're doing their presentations and that sort of stuff. They want to see things moving forward, and there's already enough of a waylay of trying to get things done, so.
Well, right now, Cheryl and I don't have anything necessarily for the next meeting anyway for you guys, so you're excused.
Okay, thank you, Jason. Yeah, put something together for whenever we meet again then.
You betcha. All right, thank you guys. Appreciate that.
Let's see, next item then. Or any other items of business, administrative approvals? Did you need to present something on that?
No, those are just for your information and if you had any questions.
And you can see the list of the permits issued, any other items for discussion? Guess I'd entertain a motion to adjourn then.
Second the motion?
Is there a second? Oh,
We need to make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second.
a motion and a second. Seeing and hearing no discussion, proceed to vote.
I'm gonna have to get an eraser if you guys continue that. Landreth,
Yes.
Orchini,
Aye.
Burkett. Yes. Fryhofer.
Yes.
Remy.
Yes, meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
That's how we like it. No controversy.